breaking news in Tennessee, a state I used to call home, by the way. Used to live in Nashville, lovely town. Tennessee is actually an amazing place in so many ways. Johnson City, it's an amazing place. Chattanooga, Tennessee, they got the best internet in the country because they did municipal broadband first. They got the best internet in the country at a reasonable price because they have city-owned internet. And now Tennessee, despite being a red state, they want to do that all over Tennessee. Because a free and open internet is not a partisan issue. People on the right, the left, and everything in between want a free and open internet. But Tennessee electorally does have a lot of problems. They got a lot of problems. And I remember being a resident in that state. And whenever I went to the voting booth, I never got to vote for anything. I got to vote against horrible policies. That's all I ever got to do. I had to go vote against policies that set women's rights back 30-some years. That was all I ever got to do in the voting booth. And it looks like not a lot has changed. Tennessee lawmakers consider criminalizing abortion in all cases. Tennessee lawmakers said Monday they are considering whether to seek one of the nation's strictest abortion bans, even as such laws continue to be struck down in court. At issue is a proposal to prohibit abortion once a pregnancy is detected. While a similar bill stalled in the Republican-controlled State House earlier this year, backers are renewing efforts now to collect enough support ahead of the 2020 legislative session. There may be no other issue that creates this much passion, said Senator Mike Bell. Nationwide abortion opponents are emboldened by new conservatives on the Supreme Court and are seeking cases to challenge Roe v. Wade. As part of that national trend, 6 states, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Ohio, passed bills this year banning abortions around 6 weeks into pregnancy. Most of those have since faced legal challenges where federal judges have indicated that the laws will likely fail to uphold under the legal precedents set by the High Court. The Roe v. Wade ruling established a nationwide right to an abortion. So that's what Tennessee's trying to do. Tennessee is trying to make sure that as soon as a pregnancy is detected, abortion is criminal, which basically means they're outlawing abortion. I mean, come on, that's basically what that does. Obviously. I mean, I think everyone realizes that. Well, that outlaws abortion. It criminalizes abortion immediately. When I lived there, and this was back in, I think it was like 2012 maybe, but there was something on the, maybe it was like 2014, but there was something on the ballot where it required doctors and nurses by law to show a pregnant woman, if she's considering an abortion, it required them by law to show her the ultrasound in detail and describe it to her. As in, they had to be like, so this is your baby's beating heart. This is your baby breathing. I know you're facing the toughest decision in your life, probably. This is probably one of the toughest decisions you'll ever have to make in your life. But here I'm going to subtly shame you by describing this ultrasound in detail to you. I'm basically harassing you, and I'm required by law to do it. People quit their jobs over it. Nurses and other medical professionals, they quit their jobs because they were like, I can't do this. I cannot do this to a human being. An abortion is their right. So, but Tennessee, trying to just outlaw it entirely. This is your government. This is what your government's working on right now. This is what our government finds worthwhile. We have poverty in the United States, richest country in the world, with an abundance of food production. More food gets wasted than gets consumed. Yet we still have poverty in this country. The fact that we have any poverty level whatsoever is beyond ridiculous. We have a gap between the rich and the poor that is remnant of ancient Egyptian times. We have people who die every year, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who die every year because of lack of healthcare. If they had basic healthcare, they'd still be alive. Richest country in the world, that happens. People can't get a higher education without going into crippling amounts of debt. And yet, this is what they spend their time on. Criminalizing somebody who may be dealing with something they're not able to handle. So they need to seek a termination of a pregnancy, which is their right to do. We're going to criminalize them. People facing one of the most difficult decisions in their lives. And by the way, if we created a more nurturing society, maybe people would feel like they had more of an option. Maybe less people. Nobody chooses abortion because, oh, I love the idea of getting an abortion, huh? They choose it because they feel like they don't really have a choice. That having the child is not a choice because they can't afford the prenatal care. Because they can't take that time off work to have the child, even if they do give it up for adoption right away. They can't afford to do it. They can't afford what that 9 months would cost them because they don't get maternity leave at their job. So if you're really so opposed to abortion, why not try to create a more nurturing society? Why not try to foster more prenatal care? Why not support universal health care that includes all of those things? Why not try to make a more nurturing society instead of judging and shaming women who are facing the most difficult decision of their lives? Why not try to focus on a better work culture that pays living wages and gives decent maternity leave like they do in other countries? Why not do all that instead of passing archaic, brutal legislation like this? Unbelievable. This is what our government prioritizes.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and